Tick, tick as the hour hand falls away. Click, click as the chamber echoes away. Tick, tick as the hour hand falls away.
Shadows stretch as we reach the close of day.
Click, click as the chamber echoes away.
Hammer cocked as it seems to find his prey.
How much longer can I live here?
This isn't a place for me at all.
My eyes of you, my eyes of you. So how much stronger must I be now? I've lived too long, I've done it all. My eyes of you, my eyes of you. Wink, wink as you force you crack a smile.
Stretches as you force your face all wild.
Sink, sink as you line the bottom of my shoes.
Glance as a force not too low.
So how much longer can I live here?
Is this the place for me at all?
My eyes of you, my eyes.
Hi Nick, it's Mike. I see I had a missed call from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for calling, eh? How are you, Mike?
Not too bad. You won't believe it, but I'm sitting in a tree right now in Bende Mutale. It's the only place you can get reception.
Listen, I've been asked to do a series of animal stories, and I wrote some stuff about the Limpopo, but looking at it, it kind of looks a little bit out of date. And the publisher, they want to go to bed with this thing quite quickly. So I just wanted to pick your brains over a few of the issues, because you helped me with them back then, you know?
Well, Nick, I think you should actually come up here. I think that there are many different issues just apart from wildlife, and I think you'd like to see them.
Hell, I'm in Cape Town, Mike.
Well, I'm coming to Joburg in about a day or so, and I could pick you up there if you could make it up to Joburg.
Brilliant. Fantastic.
Okay. Thanks, Nick.
For me at all, Tick, tick goes a pen against my head.
Where the words to describe what's not said.
Click, click go the wheels of my soul.
Where's the place that I can call my home?
How much longer can I live here?
Is this the place for me at all?
My eyes of you, my eyes of you. How much stronger must I be now? I've lived too long, I've done it all. My eyes of you, my eyes of you. How much stronger must I be now? I've lived too long, I've done it all. My eyes of you, my eyes of you.
Mike, this is the original Elephant's Child, the Rudyard Kipling. In the high and far-off times, the elephant, oh best beloved, had no trunk. He had only a blackish, bulgy nose as big as a boot that he could wiggle from side to side, but he couldn't pick things up with it. But there was one elephant, a new elephant, an elephant child. He was full of satiable curiosity. Well, that means he asked too many questions. I want to know what a crocodile has for dinner. And the collar bird said with a mournful cry, "Go to the bank of the great grey, green, greasy Limpopo River, all set about with fever trees, and find out." And the crocodile caught him by his little nose, which up to that very week, day, hour, and minute had been no bigger than a boot. And his nose began to stretch.
Mike, this is the story that I need to rewrite. God decided he better go down and have a look. He'd become very busy worrying about man and his wars and his industry. But what distracted God was his beloved Limpopo River. Well, people would farm right down to the banks on both sides. There were great pumps pumping gallons of water out. There was a huge diamond mine. He was angry. This was not very thoughtful of man. He was an animal that could drive even the great Nkulunkulu crazy at times. So it was that God decided that he would send the river below the sand. And within the twinkling of an eye, the river disappeared. But the elephant must smell where the water lies close to the surface. And there, well, you must dig great holes so that all the animals can come and drink. God gave the elephant great, huge, flat feet with a sharp front like shovels. And with these, the elephant had no trouble digging deep holes in the sand, allowing the water to gather in a pool. And at night all the animals would come in their turn and drink.
Mike, who are the stakeholders we're going to meet this week? Who are the players along this river?
This is a river that has basically become part of a fragmented landscape. And there are areas which are under state management, national park. There are areas under community management, the Makuleke part of Kruger. There are areas that are under military control in the Madimbo corridor. There are communal areas like the one that we're in now at Bende Mutale. And there are commercial farmers, there are miners, there are farm workers, there are civilians that live in Musina, shopkeepers, traders, and a range of people that are making a living and an existence out of this valley. And it's not easy.
I saw mile after mile of game fences. Does that mean the old farms have become the game farms?
With the droughts in the 1980s and then followed by the big drought in the early 1990s, cattle were devastated in this area. And a lot of the former cattle farms shifted over into wildlife. Wildlife basically uses grass and trees, so it feeds through the vegetative range. So it's not just dependent on grazing. And they also found that it was very profitable from a tourism or hunting perspective, and they could actually return more per hectare under wildlife than they could under cattle.
Mike, what are we going to have for supper? Because I'm getting really hungry now.
The changes that we've had in this Limpopo Valley have accelerated dramatically over the past 50 years. But it affects everything, even the small things that exist here in a place like Bende Mutale.
So, who do I talk to first?
What does the Limpopo River mean to you in your heart?
The Limpopo River, it's a boundary between the Zimbabwean and South Africa. I mean, for now, but for long back years, there is no boundaries between those two.
My father told me that he would go there to the river,
Yeah.
and catch some fish. If you mean hook,
Yeah.
he fetched a lot of fish at Limpopo River, and he have a big field there.
The younger people knows us Limpopo. The elder people knows us Vembe.
Vembe is a name, it's a vendor name, but it's Limpopo River.
My mother was born here in Pendemtali, but my father not, but he says Zimbabwean.
When the first occupants of the land in about the 1920s, first occupants who leased it from the state, he came here and started doing cattle farming. And I'm told that before he could do the cattle farming, the first thing he had to do was to hunt out the lions.
We don't have enough land for grazing at this moment.
But here, they are overgrazing because every day we can graze the same area.
It's not easy. It is difficult to us to survive because there's no rain well to grow some crops, and no food of cattle because it's a drought area.
There is a problem of cattle. We can prevent overgrazing here because there is a lot of cattle here.
If they can sell those cattle, then everything was going to be fine.
We like to think that the veld is actually recovering.
Nick, I think the other thing that was so clear from our drive today is just how much the landscape itself is cut and fragmented by fences, by
Huge fences,
different kinds of land use, by ownership, held by the military or conservation or private sector or communal land. Everything has been divided up into blocks. This is what I call the 5-key solution. Now, access to this corridor is controlled by these interlinking 5 locks. This one, because it's a big lock, probably belongs to the Defence Forces. This lock is also another big government kind of lock, probably belongs to the Department of Agriculture. This one is owned by Kruger National Park. This one by the safari operator. And this one, well, it doesn't look very used and it's very small, so maybe somebody just lost their key and they don't have access to it anymore. This is a serious problem, not just in terms of the community and what they want, but in terms of the long-term management and security of this area, because the people that have the right of access have been denied that access.
20 kilometers stretching straight through this veterinary fence of Madimbo. You just find people are cutting down the fence, like what is happening there at our ecotourism.
I remember it was 2004, somewhere there, if I'm not a mistake. Toko Didisa was the Minister of the Land Affairs. And then it's the one who gave us a certificate. I was there that time. At Madimbo camp of the soldier, it was Soldier Watwategi. He said that the chairperson of the CPA must come and sign here. Today I will give you your land back.
They actually are the rightful land claimants of that land, including land which already had been allocated in the Gazette to other people.
But after we received that certificate, when we need to go maybe to see or to fishing in Limpopo River, the police must arrest us.
We don't get enough benefit from those protected areas.
So I think the whole land claims issue, which I think was a good thing in the first place. I think it was right, and I think it was good. And I think they set out the founding principles were good and right. Everybody knew they were clear. But I think the implementation has been atrocious.
At this point, others are happy, others are not happy.
Personally, I think what's happened is the government has had people there who are totally incompetent and incapable of handling such a big and serious issue.
This is Limpopo government. It's the Vembe district municipality that have built this as well with the intention of stimulating and developing tourism within
this is a considerable area. Investment, huh?
I believe that the budget's in the region of 20 million rand. It has had the support of the tribal authority and some of the other stakeholders here. You've got this buildings standing completely empty.
Yeah, Awalani I think is big one, but the Bendemtal is not part of that. It's part of Awalani, but when we employ people, Bendemtal they are not employed.